So we'll start your unit third, that is the optical methods and flow injection analysis. In this unit, we see the three different type of instrument. First, or three different techniques. First, XRF, second ICPAES, and third FIA. X-ray fluorescence, inductive coupled plasma, atomic emission spectroscopy, and flow injection analysis. So today's lecture we will see X-ray fluorescence. In X-ray fluorescence, in your syllabus there are basic principles of X-ray fluorescence, instrumentation of X-ray fluorescence, excitation source of X-ray fluorescence, energy dispersive of X-ray fluorescence, and wavelength dispersive. These are the two different technique of XRF. Next, that is the advantages and disadvantages of XRF technique, and matrix effect and application of XRF. So in today's lecture we will see the general basic principle of XRF and instrumentation of XRF. That is the XRF, X-ray fluorescence technique. So in today's world there is we require the fast detection of elements. So the X-ray fluorescence, it detects the metals as well as non-metals. So having the atomic number more than 6, those are all it is detected by X-ray fluorescence. The general basic uses in X-ray fluorescence is elemental detection. That is the metal, non-metals, all detected higher atomic number from 6. Then detect the composition of glass, detect the composition of the ceramics, detect the, it is used in geochemist, forensic science. In agriculture, X-ray fluorescence is useful for determination of trace element in plants and food. Also, we detect the insecticides in fruits and leaves, and also we detect or characterization of the soils. So this is the general uses XRF in agriculture. Second, uses in medicine, like we detect the chloride in blood, we determine the strontium in blood, the elemental analysis of tissues, bone. In mining industries there is a general analysis of ores, analysis of silica, continuous analysis of zinc, determination of chromium in stainless steel. So in mining industry there is a very useful technique in XRF, because in XRF technique there is it is the non-destructive technique. So we preserve our sample as it is. As we previously sees, there are different method, that is the atomic absorption spectroscopy and flame spectroscopy, flame photometry. So in both flame and atomic absorption spectroscopy, our sample is discarded. So in XRF technology, the sample is this technique is the non-destructive. So the main useful for use for this method, it is the non-destructive, and it is very easy to handling. No extra requirements for handling of the XRF technology. So as the meaning says, XRF, X-ray fluorescence. So in this technique we use the X-rays. So X-rays are the, so in electromagnetic radiation ranges, the X-ray are 0.1 to 100 angstrom. The UV are 10 to 180 nanometer. Visible are 180 to 780 nanometer. IR 0.78 to 300 micrometer. micro and NMR region. So the X-ray generated or X-ray region is 0.1 to 100 in angstrom. So in X-ray fluorescence, when an element, it is the place in between a beam of X-ray. X-ray absorbs, the absorbing atom become excited and emits the X-rays. So this is the main general principle of X-ray fluorescence. When an element or sample is placed, so as a stepwise we see the principle of XRF. First, X-ray generated in X-ray tubes. Then X-ray hits inner shell electron of atom and eject the electron from atom. Suppose this is the atom, here the nucleus, and in K shell there are 2 electrons, L shell there are 8 electrons, and M shell there are 18 electrons. So in this we use the 2n2 rule. 2 in K shell, first shell, so 2 electron, L shell 8 electron and M shell 18 electron. When a beam of X-rays is bombarded on the electron of K shell, here for bombarding of X-ray, it hits the X-ray, the eject electron from K shell. So this electron is discarded. So here is a empty space in K shell. So the empty space is filled by electron from L shell. So one electron come from L shell. So it fulfill its position. And other one electron come from M shell. It fulfill the position of L shell. So when the outer electrons come from L shell to K shells, there is a emission of, here it is the emission of X-ray fluorescence. So emission, it is the depends on a specific wavelength or specific energy of that atom. So after emitting the X-ray fluorescence, we receive the spectrum, that is the K alpha, K beta. So the energy or wavelength we received or emitted X-ray is equal to the difference in ionization energy of electron within the location. The energy is equal to the, so next point, it is the instrumentation. Instrumentation, it includes the X-ray source, where sample kept. Next there is a coulometers and crystals, analyzer and detector. So these are the main parts of instrumentation. So the first, generation of X-ray. So in X-ray is generated when cathode and anode is connected. In the next point we will see the instrumentation. Instrumentation, it consists of X-ray source, sample, coulometers, here analyzer, or we keep the crystals, and we read the rotating detector. So the main parts are main source of X-ray. When X-rays is generated by high voltage, so X-ray fluorescence is required the high sensitivity and high selectivity. So we require the high voltage source, that is the 100 kV source. So from 100 kV source there is a generation of X-rays. So the target element for generation of X-ray, in X-ray generator we use anode and cathode. For X-ray F, for 100 kV we use tungsten as a target element. So tungsten, it is the high atomic number and short wavelength or high frequency. So we use tungsten generation of X-rays. So when X-rays is fall on the sample, here we kept a sample. When X-rays is fall on the sample, there is a first vacant in K cell, one electron is discarded or is vacant. So from higher L shell, that is the one electron is come from K shell, and there is a flow or radiate the X-ray fluorescence. This radiate X-ray fluorescence, here it is come with the secondary beam. So secondary beam is come on the crystals. Here we kept crystals. Before, here we use the collimators. So in collimators, it use to remove the overlapping of the beams. So if inserted in a single beam. So here we kept the crystals. Crystals is made up of NaCl or NaF. So when a X-ray fluorescence beam is fall on the crystals of NaCl or NaF, here is a diffraction of X-ray beam. So here is the angle of incidence theta, here is the angle of diffraction theta. So for n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. So we detect the diffracted X-ray beam by using a rotating detector. So this is all the instrumentation of X-ray AF. So in this instrument, first we generate the X-ray. Here generation of X-ray. For generation of X-ray we require the 100 kV voltage source, and we use the tungsten element in X-ray generation tube. So in X-ray generated, then X-ray is fall down our sample. So when it fall down our sample, there is a empty in the K shell electron. One here, when fall down the X-ray, here the empty or discarded this electron. When discarded this electron, the electrons come from L shell to this vacant position and fulfill this vacant position, and again one electron from M shell to come from this empty. So here the generation of X-ray fluorescence. So we detect the X-ray fluorescence radiations by detector. So this is all about X-ray fluorescence. Today we will discuss about main general principle of X-ray fluorescence, instrumentation of X-ray fluorescence, and general some application of the X-ray fluorescence.